All right, YouTube, what is up? And welcome back to another video. Now, today we are going over a bunch of cards that are skyrocketing in price, and you need to pay attention because you need these cards in your collection. And if you can still find them for cheap, there is potential for massive gains coming your way. So I'm not going to waste any time with the intro of this video. We're going to jump straight into the 12 cards that I have for you today. But if you are brand new, make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all of the movements in the Pokemon market. Now, jumping into number one, it is something that is really unexpected and something that you're probably going to look at and go, wow, I didn't even realize that that had spiked in price, especially by this much. And that is the Mewtwo V alternate full art from Pokemon Go. Yes, Pokemon Go, the set that nobody liked, nobody asked for, and nobody wanted from what I can tell. But this card is making moves. It is up 218%, which is crazy in the last 3 months. So I really like this artwork. This is one of the few cards in Pokemon Go that I actually really like. This one is sick, with Mewtwo floating above the city looking like he's about to wreck the whole place. This is really cool. And to be honest, like, this was still a cheap card like a month ago. It was like a $30 card and it's jumped up now to $54.97. So there is still a chance you could find this cheap if there are places in your local area that are a little bit slower to market changes. Things like Facebook Marketplace or older eBay listings, maybe even your local card store. If they haven't sort of checked Pokemon Go in a while, they may not have seen that this Mewtwo is rising. So you may be able to catch a good little deal there on that one now that the price has gone up. So if you can get it for below, definitely grab it. The next couple are jumping into Crown Zenith, and you guys know this is one of my favorite sets. It's cool to see some of these cards just absolutely blowing up right now. Starting with the Sleepy Mew from the Galarian Gallery, one of the coolest artworks in the whole set. Honestly, this is right up there. If it didn't have the yellow border and it was part of the higher tier of the Galarian Gallery and they made this like a full border artwork, I think this would be the best card in the set, and it would probably be one of the top chasers, right up there with that Mewtwo and just underneath the gold cards, I would say. But yeah, the artwork is sick. If you textured this and took away the border, this would be a top tier card for years to come. Up 200%. So sitting now at about $20.80. 3 months ago, you could have got it at like $7.32. So for anyone that bought a bunch of these a couple of months ago, you're sitting pretty right now, and, you know, great for you. But again, you might just have this in your collection. I personally have it in mine. I know they're, pretty readily available. It's not a super hard card to pull. And if you're still opening Crown Zenith with all those like Sea and Sky boxes and stuff that have been coming out, then you got a pretty high chance of actually nabbing yourself one of these, which is great. Continuing with Crown Zenith though, the Latias Galarian Gallery, again, the yellow border, the lower tier of the Galarian Gallery, was a $2 card 3 months ago, now jumped up 289% to be a $9.28 card. And a lot of that has come in the last month, going from $4.40 up to $9.28 where it is now. This is another cool artwork. Again, I'm not a fan of the yellow borders on these full arts. I think the artwork to the edges looks so much cooler. And especially considering like Crown Zenith had artworks like that in this set, I think the Mew and the Latias could have been in that extended Galarian Gallery and it would have been a little bit better. Same thing goes with the next card, which is this Pikachu. I still think this looks awesome even with the yellow border, but I feel like, again, if it was all the way to the edges and it was like a V-Star style card, this would have been top notch, and it's still making good moves. It's 87% up, which is not quite as high as the others on this list. But the thing about Pikachu that I'm going to say is that Pikachu is a timeless Pokemon. Like, everyone from everywhere in every walk of life knows Pikachu, even if they don't know Pokemon. And that's going to reflect when you look at the other Pikachu in Crown Zenith. This is also from the Galarian Gallery, but this one is up 124%. These two cards, I can see once Crown Zenith sells out, they're going to be sought after, especially because this one in particular goes as part of the 9-card artwork with like the Poochyena and the Bidoof and a bunch of other cards in this set, which is really cute. And this one is just an awesome artwork. So I can see both of these going up once Crown Zenith starts to no longer be available at retail. Next up is the Magmortar, 254% gain, which is huge, up to $5.46. It was as low as $1.54 3 months ago. This one and also the Electivire are pretty cool because they kind of go with each other in terms of art style. So this is the Magmortar one, and this is the Electivire here. These two go together really, really well. They're cool cards. This one has gone up 128%, so not as much as the Magmortar, but still up 128%, and quite a few sales going through even just recently. So that's pretty much it for Crown Zenith, but we're going to jump over to a promo card that is making some waves. And the only reason I threw this in here is because I am working on a video for a bunch of promo cards that have actually been, doing really, really well lately and have been skyrocketing in price. So make sure you're subscribed to see that video coming very soon. But the Galarian Moltres promo card, this was part of the Sword and Shield era, not so much the Scarlet and Violet, but still, this Moltres, I believe they came out of tins, and there was one for Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. So one thing I did want to say on this, you can see that this is up 301%. At its peak, it was up 522%, which is ridiculous. That was as late as literally a week ago. It was at 522%. So it's come back down a little bit now. It's probably going to settle at that sort of $6 mark. But one thing to note is that the Articuno and the Zapdos are still back down here on the $1 to $2 mark. So you could potentially look to load up on a few of those, watch them rise in value up to sort of this $6 mark, and then offload some of them for your profits as well. So you can pick up other things that you want to add to your collection. Next up is the Spheal from Surging Sparks. Now, Surging Sparks is really hard to actually find at the moment. I know out in Australia here, it's near impossible to find, I would say. Every time stores do get restocked, it disappears instantly, which makes it really, really difficult. Even with, notification services, sometimes it's a little bit tricky, but the Spheal's up 195%. This one was like a $4 card for most of the early time after Surging Sparks released. Bounced up to be about 202% at one point, and is now at 195. So this is a cool card. Honestly, I wouldn't stress too much about this card right now because Surging Sparks is still one of the top sets on the list to get a reprint, I would say, other than like Prismatic and Journey Together being printed in extra quantities. I think Surging Sparks is probably third after those two. So I would assume that, this pricing will probably come down once we get reprints on Surging Sparks. Next up, the Milcery from Stellar Crown. This one had just huge numbers. I couldn't leave it off the list. 360% increase, which is wild. Now, I don't know if this comes from the spike in cutesy Pokemon cards that everyone seems to be loving at the moment, because this is definitely one of those cutesy Pokemon cards. It's really nice artwork. It's pretty pink. It's got love hearts. It's got cat ears. There's all kinds of different things on this card that make it look cutesy. And I know there's a huge market out there for it with people that love these type of cards. So this one has gone, like I said, 360% up in 3 months. It was as low as $2 and is now sitting at $9.35. So big gains on that one. I actually have this in my collection as well. So it's nice to see that one making some moves. Next, the Scissor from Obsidian Flames. Now, this doesn't have the largest increase, but I'm going to say this, and I've said it probably 10 times up until this point. This card is undervalued. Even now at $13, with a 99% increase on what it was, it is still undervalued. This is one of the coolest cards from the Scarlet and Violet era. If you've seen it in person, you know just how good this looks. Honestly, the biggest problem with this was the centering and the print quality from Obsidian Flames. It was really hard to get centered copies of this card. However, I still think it is one of the best artworks that we've got in the whole Scarlet Violet era. And Scissor is such a cool Pokemon that I think this has potential to be over $20 to $25 as a card, because this illustration ramp is sick. Last but not least, leading into another card that I am planning to make another video about, and that is Giovanni's Charisma from Scarlet Violet 151. Now, 151 was obviously always a popular set, but Giovanni's Charisma didn't really get, I guess, the attention with so many cool sets or so many cool cards inside of 151. But what I'm going to say is this recent spike you can see here on the graph, it is astronomical in recent times. And I would say this is purely because of the Team Rocket set coming in the near future. However, there has been a bit of a dip here because everyone's a little bit uncertain on that Team Rocket set now. It was really like locked in solid. Everyone was so confident about it right in this point when it started spiking. It got up to 190 or 189% up. And then we got news that the Here Comes Team Rocket Japanese set is only half of whatever the set in English is going to be, which I feel like has caused it to drop a little bit in value. So down to $28 now, but 134% up on the last 3 months. I like this artwork, the Giovanni, the Persian. He's actually got a Master Ball here on the desk in the background, which is really cool as well. Is something I did notice. But he's also got like a full cabinet of different Pokeballs behind him, which is really cool as well. So I think it's just a really nice artwork. It just shows that, you know, Giovanni is the boss of Team Rocket. And with that, it's a cool card, man. Like, I know there are a lot of people that would take this and would buy this. And with the Persian from Shrouded Fable going up a lot, I could definitely see why this is going up as well, because I'm pretty sure the Persian in Shrouded Fable that's looking out the glass window is this exact Persian, because this setting just looks too similar to that for it not to be. So another cool card that tells a story and kind of links in with another card, which is great. But yeah, this one's going up. I will be making a video very soon on all of the Team Rocket cards that have been spiking in prices. So make sure you're around for that as well. But that wraps up the 12 cards we had for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications turned on for the next video. Leave a like if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in the next one.